I've always believed I had to be the strong one, the protector, even as my own mind was unraveling. I've been managing to keep it together until I was driving on the freeway to the VA hospital for a routine appointment, and my body goes completely numb. Oh God, help me. My chest hurts, and I can't feel my limbs. What's wrong with me? I can't keep pushing through this. I want to give up and die. No, I need help. Stay calm. Maybe it's just gas. But what if it's not? And then I black out. I can't die here. I need to see Ashley and my mom again. Just breathe. No, I can't breathe. Someone help me. I can't do this alone. This can't be happening. Hello? 911? I need an ambulance. I've been a military policeman, good at hiding my panic attacks and intrusive thoughts of suicidal ideation because otherwise they take away my gun and throw me out. But this time, I couldn't fake it anymore. My whole world was crumbling. I had to stop writing my thesis. My father had a series of strokes leading him to post-acute care, and I wanted to help him after I got out of the military, but then he passed away from a sudden heart attack shortly after my discharge. Every day felt like a struggle just to stay alive. I was exhausted, out of hope, and drained. I was always on edge, afraid the next panic attack might be an actual heart attack. I used to welcome thoughts of ending my life on my own terms because of this. I looked fine on the outside. My family and friends often said, "Nothing's wrong with you. You seem like you're doing great." That only added to my internal struggle because I was stuck in a mask made up of other people's perceptions of me. So I not only decided to pull over to call for an ambulance that day, but I also realized I needed to do that with my life and check myself into the VA psychiatric care unit. Entering the hospital was a shock. The ambulance doors opened and I was wheeled inside. The harsh fluorescent lights made everything look stark and smell sterile. I saw a young veteran pacing aggressively, screaming at the top of his lungs, "No! Let me go!" Nurses and the VA policemen were trying to de-escalate him. I saw another veteran woman, sedated to an extreme. She was slurring her words, pleading for more medication. Her eyes were glazed over, fighting to stay conscious. Most of the nurses were holed up in their office, disheveled and exhausted, their faces etched with stress. I felt an influx of emotions. Deep sorrow for the state of the mental health system and its workers, terror that I was now at the mercy of this system, and finally, complete surrender. I accepted the situation and went through the motions to get the help I needed. Because of Ashley. My wife, Ashley, drove me to the ER many times, more times than I can count. Despite her fears and not fully understanding my illness, she became my rock, shouldering responsibilities, managing our home, caring for our pets, visiting me, calling me every night. She's definitely a keeper. And my mom was no less supportive. She drove 6 hours round trip to visit me and ultimately picked me up at discharge, just as Ashley began her first year as a teacher. Her support and advocacy were pivotal. Every patient I met in that hospital unit were caring human beings who just wanted to get better, same as me. The young veteran screaming due to negative reactions to new meds became calm once his meds were adjusted. He ended up as my hospital roommate, and we bonded over our love of family. He struggled with schizophrenia and described a Latina woman's voice in his head with an attitude. I told him that sounded a lot like my mama. Then there was a hyper and fascinating Marine veteran with spiky blonde hair who struggled with bipolar disorder and suicidal ideation. He stuck by me during my panic symptoms, and we even went to the support groups at the hospital together. We bonded over our love of music like the Beatles. He was a big fan of the band Suicidal Tendencies. Another veteran with long Kurt Cobain type hair, who struggled with addiction, shared stories of his drug escapades and a profound near-death experience where he was shown that we are all beings of light who incarnate over and over into physical worlds to learn specific lessons for spiritual growth. I became friends with these veterans, and we all shared the same goal: to get better. Despite being overburdened, the hospital staff worked tirelessly to help us. And with their support, I began to find my footing again. There were days when I felt like giving up, but even the smallest progress kept me going. I tried everything: meds, therapies like cognitive behavioral therapy, dialectical behavioral therapy, and acceptance and commitment therapy, even transcranial magnetic stimulation. But it wasn't until the psychedelic treatments at the VA hospital that I felt a true shift. Those sessions were a key, unlocking doors in my mind long sealed by trauma. I remember one session where, for the first time, I didn't feel like I was fighting my own mind. I could breathe. I mean, really breathe. It was like I was meeting myself again after being lost for so long. The breakthroughs I experienced weren't just fleeting moments of clarity. They were profound shifts that allowed me to start rebuilding my life. This isn't just about my story, it's about saving lives. We need more research into these treatments so others can find the light in their darkest moments too. After those breakthroughs, I found myself drawn to practices that could help me sustain that sense of peace and clarity. Meditation and yoga became my daily rituals, grounding me when my thoughts spiraled. The first time I felt peace during meditation was like finding a lifeline. These practices gave me tools to manage my inner states and self-regulate. The psychedelic treatments gave me a reference point for that inner peace, and then I did the work to find it naturally. These days, I no longer hide my struggles. Seeking help is the strongest thing I can do. With Ashley's support and the birth of our daughter, my life took on new meaning. Holding my daughter for the first time, I felt an overwhelming sense of love and purpose. She became my beacon of hope, reminding me why I fought so hard to get better. In the end, it wasn't just about surviving. It was about finding a reason to keep going, a reason to fight through the darkness. And in the light of my daughter's eyes, I found that reason. We all have our battles, and sometimes we need to pull over. What's your reason to keep going? Find it, hold on to it, and seek help when you need it. Thank you.